What is going on, everybody? It is Mr. Banks here coming at you live with another live trade recap of my $8,000 day that I had today. Before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button on the YouTube so you don't miss any of our educational videos that we drop on the daily that makes you a better, successful, and consistent trader. Now, before we get started, I am a part of the Wolves of Wealth Discord. And as you know, we don't just talk about this or educate you. We actually make it happen and put it into action, not only for us, but for all of our members. As you can see, we had a plethora of wins all through today, all through the week, and every single day, because education and call outs are both our top priority for you so we can see you win. Now, I did give these trade plans in the Discord as well. As you could see, my $8,000 day did pretty well today. I don't do this every day, but some days I have that conviction and go heavy. And today was that day. Now, as you could see, I did put some trade recaps for you. I had AMD, NVIDIA, and SPY. I will be going over all of the trades I took today. Sorry, with AMD, QQQ, SPY, Tesla, and SBX. So as you can see, today we had AMD break of 59.50 for calls. PT 60, that was a small, slight trade you could have taken, but I also said you could wait for 60 to make the major move. NVIDIA 127.69 for calls, and SPY, the big one that everybody loves, break of 380 for calls. Now let's go ahead and get started. I will be starting with AMD, or actually, yeah, let's just go ahead and start with AMD. So why did I say 59.50 for calls? Well, as you guys know, if you've watched my other videos, I do follow the strategy that I've developed over 9 years of trading, and that strategy is called the BBR strategy, not the BBW, but the BBR strategy. As we know, all big girls need love too, but that's besides the point. So the BBR strategy stands for bounce, break, reject, right? Because stocks only do three things. They will bounce on support, they will reject off of resistance, and they will either break through resistance or break through support. Now, if you make your trading as simple as this, I guarantee you will grow your portfolio because that is literally all stocks do. So 59.50, what was this? And again, with the BBR strategy, I'll just go over really quick. If you haven't seen my other videos or seen my threads on it or anything that I've talked about on this strategy, is I'm always looking at pre-market lows and highs, previous days, lows and highs, as well as previous major resistance, right? Previous major resistances or supports within the last week or any major ones that we're coming up to. So with AMD 59.50 pre-market high a couple days ago, right? It was a major resistance right here. Thus why you could see why I had this level, right? We were below it. You could have said 58, I could have said 59, 59 as a level, as you could see it pass by that. But I really wanted to make sure that we got above 59.50. And then again, I also had 60. As you could see, this was a major area of resistance right here at 60. So I said you could have taken the trade from 59.50 to 60. That would have been a beautiful trade, which I did. But again, you could have waited till this 60 major resistance just in case we came back up and rejected it like we have been doing. But today we finally got through that major resistance. So as you can see, these were these major resistances that I was looking at to break for calls. Now, I try to stay unbiased. That's why I say also reject for puts, because as we well know, if this is a major resistance, we can also see a major reject of it, right? Simple. So 59.50 and 60, this is how I found these major resistances, and I found these levels this way. So this is how I took my AMD trade, calls over 59.50. I entered it lightly, and after we got over 60 was when I entered in heavier and finally took my profits around 61. Now, let's go back. As we can see, we had the Qs. So If SPY is running, the Qs are running, right? Tech is heavily weighted into SPY. Tech is heavily weighted into SPY. So Qs, 280, major level. How did I find that? Well, just like I explained, right? Just like I explained, it was a major resistance. We couldn't get past it yesterday. So I knew if we got past it today, that was definitely going to be an easy play to take calls on. And as you could see, we came up, flagged out, kind of retested it again and shot all the way up for a nice 4-point move. There you have it. Super simple. Trade plan complete, right? So as I said, the BBR strategy just follows, if we break a major resistance, or on the flip side, if we find a major support for a bounce. Well, we found this resistance. And as we know, if something breaks either to the upside or downside, say if we broke to the downside, say this was a support right here, right at 277, let's just call it 60. We broke down that, would be like looking for a retest to take puts, right? Right here, we broke up and we came down and retested it for a bounce for calls. Because as we know, if we break resistance, we will look for that to turn into support. And if we break support, we will always look for that to turn into resistance. A very simple concept I need all of you to understand. So as you can see, 280 was my major level. We got it. I took calls and banked. Moving right on down the list, SPY, everyone's favorite. Always go big on SPY because I know it. I had the conviction on the run up today. So just like 280 on QQQ, I had 380. How did I find that? Well, what do you know? It was a major resistance to the previous day. So if I saw that we broke through this major resistance, I would know to take calls. And what happened? We broke through, found support on it, because as we know, we break through resistance, we will find it as support. That's what we will be looking for. And if we break support, we'll be looking for it to retest and make it as resistance. But in this case, obviously, we were breaking through resistance, found it as support, took calls, and absolutely banked on the day. As you know, my name is Mr. Banks. Welcome, everybody. You will always be banking with Banks. Now let's run ahead to SPX. Sorry. SPX. Oh my gosh. Right. So now I didn't necessarily get, this was a major level, right? We broke through. I was taking my other trades, so I didn't have this SPX. I did have this SPX level, but again, I was in my other trades, couldn't get over to SPX as I can't trade everything at once. But once I found we broke through this level and we kept retesting it, this is exactly where I was able to take calls and make some profits on my SPX move, right? On my SPX move, right? So again, you could have found this as a level, right? Previous day, major resistance level. And guys, as you can see, what I've been talking about, if we break through resistance, look to find it as support. This is exactly what we did. But today, since I was in my other trades at this time, I was able to take an SPX trade and call when we broke through this other support and found it as a resistance, right? So this is how I took SPX. And the last one, but not least, Tesla. Shout out to Elon. Shout out to Elon. All right. So I had a couple levels on here. I trade on TOS, Thinkorswim. Obviously, I don't trade on TrendSpider, but I use TrendSpider to show you guys because the charts are more, you could say, beautiful, and we like beautiful things. So on that Tesla trade, again, I was able to take some when we found support right up here. Sorry, let me draw the line for you so you guys can see what exactly I'm talking about. So as we know, BBR strategy, what have I been talking about? Major resistances, right? So this was a major resistance we found in the after hours pre-market, the whole shebang. Once I was able to find support right here off of 215, I was able to take some calls and take a trade on Tesla right there, right? So today it was all about strength. The bulls were in charge. And, we're going into earnings. We had a nice run up into earnings, but as we know, the market kind of dipped back down. We've been running up for 4 days straight now. yeah, as you can see, the BBR strategy, resistance, resistance, support, support, support. Super simple, guys. I really don't trade with any indicators at all. You know, if we break my level, we find my level, I take the trade, right? I'm so confident in this strategy. And I'm confident if you learn this strategy too, that you will be able to make gains and be profitable like me, right? So I have a ton of information on it to YouTube. That's why you need to go ahead and click the subscribe button. Um, but as you can see today, it was all about breaking major resistances and finding them as support to take calls. Super simple. You don't need all this X, Y, Z, W, all of that. Granted, fib works. Granted, you know, all these other strategies can work. This is the strategy that I've developed over 9+ years, going on to my 10th years of trading, right? I find that the more simpler you trade, the easier it is to trade, right? I don't like a bunch of things sitting on my chart, right? Because as you can see, and like I have been proving, they will play level to level, right? They play off of levels. And what do stocks do? As I said in the beginning of the video, they only bounce, break, and reject. They will bounce on support. They will reject resistance, or they will break through resistance, find it as support, or they will break through support and retest that as a resistance, guys. Super simple. Hope you guys enjoy this. This is how you become a profitable day trader. Check out my other videos. Live trade recap. Mr. Banks, I'm out.